Oi, oi. Oh, so I'm Marticus. In my new reality, I was martinliedtke apparently in my last life, but in this new reality that I popped into, I'm apparently Marticus Farticus. So is there anyone in this room who hasn't come across me before? Put your hand up. Okay, well that's going to be interesting. I'm a little bit different to anything else you see today, although it will be very positive and a very loving experience. I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey. So what I've been talking about for years, I started out with Flat Earth 2015, and then I went into alternative history, what they call, because I had doubts about what they were telling us with the history books. None of it made any sense, and it was just a chronology of royal families and battles. So I started to go to these battle sites, and none of them are where they ever were supposed to be, like Battle of Hastings, Battle of Boyne, couldn't find any of them, nobody knows. So I was like, okay, history could be faked and it could be just given to us by the controllers, which is indeed what I think is happening. So why would they do that? Well, I think it's for a good reason. I think it's for a few reasons. I think it's about missing land, right? Land is out there somewhere, which I think the elites are going to. They're saying that they're going underground. I don't think that's the case to go in a bunker, because a bunker is a death trap, really. If you ever watched the Fallout program, you know things go to shit in a handbag quick in a bunker. So I think they're probably in other lands, you know, what we call outwardly of the ice wall, what you call, or what they might call Antarctica, you know, Club Tropicana, where the drinks are free, sitting there with David Bowie and Prince playing Purple Pain on the stage. So yeah. So I envisioned, right, I did this for a reason, what I did with Tartaria. So Tartaria and mud floods and the reset of civilization, okay? I literally think that we are a post-apocalyptic society, really technically inept at this period. I think that we are in between resets, okay? I think there's another one down the road, and this is a complete natural cycle, and it's meant to be. It's out of our control, and it's God's ineffable plan. We just got to go with it, okay? But it's all good, because you won't know anything about it, because you're in the process of being an ascended being. We're lifting our vibrations, yeah? And we're learning about what this place is, okay? Because we know now, all of us know, it's not what they've been telling us, okay? So we're starting to think for ourselves now and look for the clues, you know, and put it all together, which is what I've been doing. I'm a pattern recognition person, and I've seen the pattern, and this is not mistakable. You know, there's a lot of things out there they call conspiracy. I don't think this is the case at all. I think the elites, or the powers that should not be, know exactly what I'm about to tell you, okay? Because they tell us in contemporary music, you know, bands like Queen or Led Zeppelin, you know, I could just go on and on. They tell us exactly what happens in this place, okay? So as I said, I think we're technically inept. It's a good chance that this place, as soon as AI is brought out, if it hasn't been there all the time already, I think that adds to the circumstances for a reset. I think it's definitely connected with AI. You know, my suspicions got deeply, you know, when they started to roll out 5G during Rona, and then, you know, there's illness because of the electromagnetic differences. This has happened before in the past, you know, it's like radiation poisoning. And now they're going into a period now where everything doesn't make any sense anymore. Yeah, nothing makes any sense. They're just literally gone into a clown show. So we've all realised that, we're thinking for ourselves. So what I envisioned was a future of Tartaria. Now there was a civilization in the past called Tartaria, which has been taken out of the narrative. There's literally a CIA document, not that can be trusted in any way, but it does actually state that this civilization is to be eradicated from all the timeline, okay, and its peoples. Why? Well, I'm about to show you now. These people were in advanced state of consciousness, okay? And this was only as little as 200, 250 years ago. If you look at the people of what they call the Victorian era, oh my God, their handwriting, their expression of creativity was fantastic. So something has happened where we, as a peoples, have been dropped down, consciously wise, to a state that we just stand to remember. So that's what I think is happening here. I think we're in a process of remembering what this place is. The clues are there. If you get a goose pimples, you know that there's something there, you know? You know, if it resonates, then it's the truth. And I do think this is the truth. So what I thought is, if I showed the people, which this video will express now, what the past was, then because they've hijacked consciousness into all negativity, wars, plagues, and all of the rest, If people could just envision on this future, that is what will come down the line. Okay, so tartaria to me is in the future, a place of abundant free energy, abundance for everybody, you know, and going back to who we are. Now, we don't need to skip all technology. I think technology can be used for good for people, but different sorts of implosion technologies is what they used in the past. So, I just want to fire this off, and I'll give you an idea. Oh. So yeah, I had a video made for me a little while ago. It's okay.
You can do some music?
I can sing.
No,
It's a music production.
Oh, yeah. Intro. It doesn't matter if it doesn't come out because I got plenty anyway. So, hey. No sound. There you go. So this will give you an idea of what I've been up to for the last decade.
Start it over.
Irate.
Same old buildings, different towns, same old shapes just passed around. Columns, domes, I've seen that before, but nobody knows what they're for. They say we built it line by line, brick by brick, over time. But something about that just feels off, like I'm hearing a story that's been cut off. I keep looking, trying to see how it all connects for me. Something doesn't fit, something's out of place. Feels like pieces got erased. Something doesn't fit, I can't ignore. The more I look, there's something more. Streets too high, doors too low, windows buried down below. Like we're walking on top of time, like we missed something in the line. They call it progress, call it change, but this don't feel like it rearranged. Feels like something got wiped away, and we're living on what remains. I don't know what went down, but I feel it all around. Something doesn't fit, it don't feel right, like the truth was left behind. Something doesn't fit, I can't pretend. This is where it all began. They showed it once, then took it down, built it up, then burned the town. Why would you hide what you found? Oh, no! doesn't have to be written just to make it last. And I ain't saying I know it all, just hearing echoes through the walls. Too many things that don't align, too many cracks in the design. Something doesn't fit, it's everywhere. In the ground, in the air. Something doesn't fit, I cannot see. The more I look, it looks at me. Something happened. Something happened.
Hang on, where's it gone? So yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last few years. That's literally the world that went before us, guys. Where did we go wrong? You know, these expositions, they say they'll be put in place, used for 6 months, millions of people pass through. That's not what's going on. This civilization was reset in the recent past. I mean, not a dramatic long time ago. If I was hazard to guess, I would give the year of 1811, around that time, 1812, time of the overture. I think that the calendar was probably switched off and then put back on again when this place was inhabitable, because there was a mud flood and everything got buried in 30 foot of mud. I mean, everywhere in the world, okay? And then they dug it all the way from the front of the buildings, built retaining walls, carry on with civilization. But the civilization wasn't here, and as you've seen on there, with the orphan babies and these baby farms, no, you're okay, thank you. These baby farms, there's been some sort of breeding program to repopulate the place, okay? That seems to be the case. Now, if you look at these images here, these are absolutely fantastic. So what I'm going to explain to you now, each image is equivalent to 1,000 words, it really is, okay? What you're seeing here is the level of consciousness we were at only 100, 200 years ago. What's happening here is a form of energy that I was calling, or I named antiquitech years ago, okay? It's quite a popular term now. It's in the Urban Dictionary. So what is happening is the churches of the old world, okay, are living buildings. They're living buildings, okay? The geometry, these people who built this, they know about the structure of this place. Yeah, they know how it works and what is really going on with the structure. It's down to the ether again, you know, they know how this place works. So when you were to walk into one of these places, first thing you would have is a download, because these places are literally interconnected to one another. You would have a download of information. The healing would be going on all the while, okay? I'll explain that all the way along. Vibrational healing will happen. So you go into one of these churches post-reset, okay, a Gothic church, organs, bells, all going on, beautiful. And then you put in a prayer, okay? And then you leave the dwelling, and then the prayer comes true. And then the church says, yeah, that was us. That was our boss. But really, it was you, because these places, they were places for you to manifest what you wanted and not give your chi energy away to anything. Because that is what's, you know, if you want to survive in this place, guys, I've been here a while, and this is what I have learned, is you retain your chi energy for you, okay? It's the only way you can navigate this place safely, okay? Yeah, if you give it all away, because that's what institutions do, religion, stuff like that, they just literally hand over your sovereignty. They can make decisions for your life, think for you, like you can't think for yourself. And I'm just not going to do that. This is what I try to promote, is people just to think for themselves and use their own minds. I show you what I know, what I've learned over my years of research, and you can make your own minds up. But this one, I think, is not a conspiracy. I think all of this is so true, and I think it definitely happens. And that's what gives it, the terrifying truth, really. But the other side of it is that we won't know anything about it, because we are in the process of changing our lives to learn what this place is, which puts us in a special place, okay? I really do think if anything did happen, we would just be plucked out and can just carry on with the next realm, okay? The other you, just jump into another you. You probably wouldn't know anything about it in the realm that you've envisioned. Now, in hell realm, which I definitely think this is, okay guys, but hell ain't a bad place to be, because what I found that I thought when I was young, I thought, oh my God, I'm affecting reality. I've got magical powers. What's going on with me? You know, I was literally manifesting things real time. I was like, uh-oh, what is going on here? As I mastered it, as I got older, okay, I found that I could affect change in the whole realm. Literally, you know, like create change for the whole realm is what I've been trying to do. And it has worked. Millions of you, what I got to say, and that is exponentially growing. So I thought if everyone could just get out of fear, because most population doesn't even know they're in flight and fight mode. We don't need to be in fight and flight mode anymore, because there's no lions going to come and eat us. The neighbouring village isn't going to come and take us over. What's happening is we're stuck in that, and then it's always that fight or flight response of fear, when it's a primal thing. Okay, it's instinctive, but we don't need it anymore. We have to cut that off, let it go, because literally this what is happening now, okay, this awakening, which is what it is, and it's quickening. It's coming on quicker, time's lost its fucking grip. We don't even know what's going on with time anymore. And every single day you wake up, it's like you're in a brand new reality. It really is. You know that everything is off since COVID. The colours are weird, the fucking food tastes weird, everything is weird. Has anyone noticed this? Yeah. So I think that we're in a stage now as we reach this zenith point, okay, in the awakening of civilization, which is what is going on here. And I'm sure that like this is the, you know, in years to come, they will talk about this, what happened. Okay, they will. I get it, but that they will. And I think that what we're doing, all of us just thinking like this, is super duper important, because the normies, God love them, they're lovely people, we love them. But, you know, they're all in a mind control program, MK Ultra's thick with them, and it's hard to snap them out of it. But if you can show them the truth of this place, like I try to do, okay. Oh, can I? Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, it's quite mind-blowing. So, I know. So you've got to wonder, how do they know this stuff? How are they producing this? The fractal geometry required. I coupled with some ideas of how they're doing this, maybe water on the floor, and then maybe putting in a somatic pattern into the water. You know the way the water ripples on a wall? Well, maybe that give an impression of a somatic pattern, and then they just paint it in. It's something along those lines, I think, that they're doing, you know? But this place is fluidical, and it shows you on these living machines, absolutely. These are from the Moorish world, but these people definitely know about mathematics, because the maths required in these buildings is off the radar. We can't even do this stuff today. Everything, even in the Gothic churches. Like I said, these are living experiences. And for some people, when they go in these buildings, life-changing. And as I said about earlier, look at the fractal geometry just dripping down there. Absolutely fantastic. They know exactly what this place is. So I just want to touch upon what I said about hijacking consciousness and getting everyone in a state of fear. And as you know from all the conversations, fear will get you ill, okay? So I'm thinking that we were in a higher state of consciousness, and we will get there again, far beyond this time, far beyond where we were before. And all of this has happened before. So what I think is happening, I know it sounds fantastic, but I think this. Time doesn't exist, okay? I think this is an illusionary place. I really do, okay? Like a dream within a dream, so they say. But people in history, so imagine now you are a soldier in the trenches of the First World War. Now, right now. So that guy there in the trenches of the First World War, he exists in his now, right now, okay? So what I think is when we wake up civilization to the truth of this place, okay, whatever we find out, okay, then all of history will wake up simultaneously. I mean all of the timelines, boom, 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 like that. So we're not just awakening our civilization, we're waking up all of history. How big is that? Wow. It's absolutely mind-blowing. But, you know, it doesn't, oh shit. Oh, sorry. That's why they call me Marticus, because I cuss. Marticus. Alright, sorry, I lost my shit completely there. Shitcus. So yeah, the Moors, they got a thing or two going on with the architecture, that is for sure. I mean, yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. But you know this, Oh, well, yeah, but they're not really. No, they're all in it together. So there's a place in Cardiff Castle called the Arab Room, and it's all gold leaf, it's beautiful. And if you step under it, you literally, it's like standing as an orgonite pyramid or something. I'm literally energized, literally. But it's supposed to cost 40 million or something, this Arab Room. The centre bit, where this sort of configuration is, okay, they put ropes around so you can't stand under it. I got under the ropes, so I thought, fuck you all. Yeah, they want to block this technology. So this technology, there's some places in Eastern Europe that I've been to where you can see antiquitech on the roofs of all of the old buildings, but it's not active anymore, okay? So I think that this stuff could be brought online. I really do, antiquitech. What are the benefits to humanity? Well, Moses lived till 800 years. I think that we are sold a half-life, and I think they predictively program us into the grave because they are running a death cult, and we are not in that death cult. So if you can just, birthday comes around, okay, use your candles, blow them out, we'll all count your years away, Oh, you shouldn't look like that, act your age. Or, and certain people get to a certain age, they think they're going to act a certain way. It's absolutely preposterous. So yeah, look at that dome there, absolutely beautiful, geometry included. So we were at a higher state of consciousness as little as 200 years ago, 100 years ago, okay? Something happened. It could be the big trees dropped down, and that was the fall of consciousness, okay? Because this place was buzzing on a high state of consciousness. And I think that it's possible to reverse aging. Okay, just find yourself a good dealer. No, I really do think it's possible, okay? Because I think this is a spell. I think that aging and getting us into this whole narrative that they run the whole thing on is that you've got to live your life and then you get old and then you die. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to settle for that. That sounds a bit shit. And then how many years of good youth do you have? And then you're falling into middle ages and then, nah, I ain't doing that. Other cultures, you've got many places in Vietnam where there's people running up and down paddy fields. They don't even know how old they are. They're probably over 100 years old, okay? So it is the system, the Western system that we live in is cutting us short and we are on a half-life. I am convinced with this information being told, and they don't really want it, I've had enough trouble in my life with it trying to talk this truth on YouTube, let me tell you. Lost channels, big subscriber bases, everything just taken away because of this truth, okay? That we can live much, much longer, 125, 130 years, and be at your halcyon age, for 80 years. Why does that seem like it's outlandish? Because they don't run civilization like it in the West. That is what I think is possible. So getting a long life, okay, an abundant life, okay, where we don't really have to have all of the structure of society. To me, obviously, government's got to go, all of it. I think that we should just run ourselves, self-governing duchies, everyone being sovereign for themselves, and in a loving, caring, giving society, which is, I think, what we should do, because this is a really unkind place that I find in myself. It's not, my philosophy in life is above all be kind, and that's it. But I'm not seeing that expressed in society. It's not their fault, it's MK Ultra, okay? And they are way under. I encounter people all the time, I try to debate or talk to them, instantly I'm like, I just can't do it. It's like you sound like a child, you just don't even know anything about reality. Not to insult children, but some people that just don't know anything about the world they live in. And they die not knowing anything about the world they live in. I thank God my mother died a flat earther and found out the truth. So yeah, just to show you some examples of how fantastic this architecture is. So yeah, how does it affect? Well, it's down to the ether, as Steve's been talking about, okay? So it interacts with our, basically, I'm not saying we're holography, but we are definitely fractal by nature because the whole of this place is, if you get down to it. So this interacts with you symbiotically, and heals you. It will give you a download of information. What sort of knowledge do we need? What downloads do we need? Well, we need to know how to navigate the realm safely. We need to know the deeper spiritual meanings. We need to know our place in this story, okay? Because somebody said to me, I said, I don't know who I am. I literally don't know who I am. And then I got told, well, you need to find that out for yourself. And I thought, well, I think that's the same for everyone, really. Because I spent a lot of my life under MK Ultra, guys. You know, thinking the earth was a spinning ball, thinking that the telly was telling me the truth. My mother would go, oh, no, that's just brainwashing and propaganda. I'd be like, no, it's not. No, it's not, it's on the news. Now I know better, since I gave up telly 25 years ago. So this example here is in the cathedral floor of Chartres Cathedral in France. It is absolutely mind-blowing. They've got a couple of these. Now this is the flower of life. You can see the geometry going on there. It's absolutely fantastic. I can't imagine if you stand in the middle of there with a dome above you, the impact it would have on your consciousness. It would be absolutely fantastic. Okay, beautiful. In fact, all of this is beautiful. So signature pattern vibration. As I explained, these are living buildings, like literally living. Okay, they're conscious. I really do. I'm in the camp, but I think everything is aware. You know, buses, I can see auras on buses and cars, so they are some sort of consciousness, they're aware, okay? And I get that for everything in this place. So if you can see examples here of cymatic windows, or windows you see in churches. Can you see them? Flower of life. So all matter is crystalline, all matter is frozen light, okay? So when you think of that, when you get to the churches, let me show you now. So this is Chartres, and it's got this circuit board on the floor, Schumann resonator, healing device, Schumann frequency, okay, the Earth's frequency of 7 to 10 hertz. Now, how could they know that? Gothic monks, okay, that apparently built this when they were still chucking buckets of pee out of the window in the world of horse and carty. Happy? A horse and carty? Okay. Sorry, the joke is she just wants me to hear me say horse and carty in a Welsh accent. Apparently it's some music. Whatever. Alright. Somatics. Now I'm sure a lot of you have seen experiments with water. Take them or give them. You can practice this stuff yourself, right? It's all to do with intent. Okay, so when I cook, I put my intent, I'm blessing my food. I don't like to use the word bless because it's be less. Yeah, so I'm not doing that. I changed all my etymology, you know, hello, I'll say hiya. Why are you saying hell at me? You know, oh, you're healthy. Oh, healthy? Yeah, no. So I'm changing my etymology, actually, to less destructive words. But I do cham, I'll use that word, cham my food or my water, because I think the power of the mind, okay, because I'm in a camp of I think all is mind in this place, okay? You all have your mind, you all have your separate consciousness, and we're in some sort of ether soup, psychic connections. You know, I'm sure a lot of you have synchronicities. This comes on with the awakening, synchronicity. You know, I'm at a stage now where I see them so often, it doesn't even register anymore. I just, yeah, you know, I just go on. Because I know that there's a bigger thing happening. It's much, much bigger than us. But I'm going to go with it because it's good and it's true. And that's what means the most to me. I made the decision early on in life about truth, and I thought to myself, well, if I've got to go through my life just stamping on everybody, I don't think I'm going to bother. So I didn't, you know, I made the conscious decision just to be groovy. Yeah, and it's put me in good stead. So did you know that in 1953, the worldwide agreement was made based on the idea by the Rockefeller Institution to change the frequency of music. They changed it from the natural harmonic resonance of 432, lush, to its current consciousness suppressing 440. So they changed the music. I've had all my music recut into 432, and it sounds like it should do in a studio. It's absolutely fantastic. So they brought down the vibration of the music. When you get into churches then, there's like they're the brown note. Apparently the organs were making people's bowels move. There was another note that they removed in the 1700s. Apparently it was like, you know, interfering with women in a very pleasant nature. So they got rid of that as well. So, this is nice. I'll look into it. I can feel a business model coming on. Silicon is the key mineral found in hair. I mean, this all connects. So I grow my hair longer. You know, there's Asian people like the Rosicrucians. They used to grow their hair down here. They knew that this, you know, these are natural antennas. Okay, undoubtedly contributing to its antenna ability. So I think long hair, anyway, I think that it interacts with the ether, and I think you can get information. I'm not sure that the way they say that the brain works, that the brain actually makes all of these thoughts, is actually true. I'm not sure at all. And the eighth dimension could be all there, out in the ether, and we just collect it. It could be that case. Crystals have the power to receive and transmit energy waves, and the earliest radios used quartz crystals were called crystal sets, which I built one myself when I was young. The main composition of quartz is crystal. Crystal is silicone. Okay, so literally we are radios. Okay, we transmit and we pick up information. Okay, hairs on your hand will do it too, and that's why they're there anyway. So truth vibrates at a specific frequency. You don't only hear it, but you also feel it. And that's when you know you're touching upon something. Now this subject, since I've been looking into it, it's literally my life. It's above all that I do in my life is this research, because it's got me. Because I'm literally buzzing out on a daily basis from what I discover. And I discover something on a daily basis. If I intend to discover it, literally it just comes to me. I'm like, how? So I got to a stage when I thought, shit, the only person in the world that could possibly know that is me. Okay? So I'm just wondering if I'm leaving myself clues from the future. Now I passed this on the way up. It's called, it's Chesterfield, and the narrative behind this wobbly column makes no sense. They said it warped the wood, so the builders carry on building it. Now, I'm sorry, that's just ridiculous notion. Something happened that twisted this column, okay? Now, I'm in the camp that this place is Taurus's, and Taurus fields as well, as I may have mentioned in the past. And these things here, these Gothic churches, interact with the ether. But how do they do it? Well, these bits on the top, I would call them, it's a highly technological term, knobbly bits. Okay? So the knobbly bits at the top, okay, they drive the chi energy up in spirals, increasing it, okay, like that. And also, you've got like capability for energy harvesting as well from some of these. Have antiquitech, metal devices called resonators, and it's down to the purity of the metal and the symmetry of the metal, and these will resonate like that, and that can be converted into a usable charge, which is what I think they were doing in the past. I think that they were using energy. I think that they had everything that we have now that we think is new. You just roll it out. This is new for you, but the Skype is new. We never had it in the 1920s, which they did. And they just keep rolling it out. It's for the new generations, the new business models. They do the same with music. So they say these Gothic churches were built with copper chisels, with monks, okay? And copper chisels get blunt really easily, so they had to hire a labourer, and his job was to constantly sharpen copper chisels so that they could nobble away at these stones all day. I don't think that's actually happened. I think they were in a higher state of consciousness, and look at the scale of that church. Unbelievable. So these churches indeed got mud flooded in the cataclysm, okay, and you can see that all of these churches, a lot of them are put on top of water sources, but on top of them you'll get the catacombs, which is another thing of their death cult, is they like to put under the building where they bring all these people in to worship their person, okay, but first they have to walk under all of the dead bones of all of the people, their people, underneath them. It's so super macabre. And then you get to the altar that alters you, under the spire that, apparently inspires you. And under the altar, I couldn't even imagine what's going on there, okay? But there's tombs of saints, apparently, all around in these churches. Just dead people just hanging around. To me, that's just super macabre and super weird and super creepy. But you can see the scale of this building in conjunction to the city around it. These buildings are later than the reset. You can see that this building is just super big, okay? So I'm in the camp as well, thinking that we lived alongside giants, okay? And they're not here anymore, they're gone somewhere. Maybe they chopped the trees down, built boats and pissed off back. I can't fault them. So yeah, this is, I think this might be a synagogue looking at that star in the middle, right? So but the somatic pattern, okay? And this is, it is in it. Okay. So, you notice in churches, I'll show you some examples in a minute, they've got the window, the rose window, the somatic window, okay? So there's properties in the glass, in the rose windows, they've been treated with mercury, got lead between them, and the music that is inside the church emanates through outside as well, or did. Now, What you find, and I'm going to get to it in a minute, right, is the bells were all removed, okay? But in World War II, okay, Winston Churchill just said no bells are to be rung in Britain until the conclusion of the war. And so 1945 came, VE Day, and then all the bells in Britain rang. That was the last time it happened. It must have been the most beautiful thing. Just all of the churches all together at the same time. It's the last time they did it. They haven't done it since. But they remove a lot of the technology out of these. So just whiz through. So this is the floor in Chartres Church. This one at the bottom looks like CERN. And it's like one of those optical illusions where it's just like a tunnel going down and down. You know, it's like, you know, what are they doing? Are these things like portals? Are they going into these churches, standing on this spot here, and then just boom, you're in another church, in another destination. You know, technology could have been that advanced. Hollywood keep telling us that teleportation is a possibility, you know. Sorry, Ben?
And that's simple.
And that's simple, yeah.
No, that's simple. It's really
Boom.
easy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So they could have been doing that. I'd like to think, you know, just using my imagination here, but, you know, the level of technology for this period that these buildings are supposed to be, you know, built at is just off the radar. It surpasses the intellect of today, that is the show. So, yeah, look at this. In the middle of the floor itself is a schematic, okay, which is a circuit board. Exactly what a circuit board looks like. And the churches themselves when you look at them from above. And then the cities when you're looking from above. Really like circuit boards on a motherboard. So I literally proposed that this place was some sort of computer mainframe and we're living in it. And that it's interchangeable, by meaning when they say you can jump from one dimension to another, I think that is happening quicker now and more so. And whatever weirdness they're coming down with, the powers that should not be, is to stem the flow of what we are capable of. I think we're untapping the human potential. I think that it's going to be fantastic, and I think they really, really want to stop that. What do they want? A load of superheroes, people with superhuman powers? No, they don't. Do they want a place full of critical thinking people? No, they want a load of slaves that'll just do their beckoning for them to earn their money. This 1% that they say. So here's an example of organs. Now, organs are good for you. The organ music, some of them even been replaced, these organs from the past, okay, to lower the technology of what I call technasmia, okay? So organs are good for your organs. Other things, like to begin with org, like orgasm, and other things, okay? So it's good for anything to do with org, okay? That's the clue. So the organs are playing, you're sitting in a church, and you're getting the vibrational quality through your body, but not only that, it's going through the rose window, out. So the possibilities of this are electroculture, meaning plants grow bigger, bigger crops as well with the vibrational quality, okay? And longevity and good health and abundance for everybody in the community, and I think that's what was happening before, okay? So you can see church windows, each one has a different charge or a different somatic frequency for different churches. So I think each one of them were doing slightly different things, okay, because they had a different vibrational quality. But you can see here the somatic patterns of some of the churches. So it's undoubtable that they know about that technology, and it's undoubtable that they're actually doing it, okay? Although a lot of that technology has been suppressed and a lot of the rose windows have been taken out. So yeah, these organ examples are absolutely fantastic. If you can imagine, you know, just sitting there and all that vibrational quality passing through you and healing all of you. So the church literally hijacked. You can imagine them coming into these churches post-reset, okay? They've been wherever, off land, maybe in a bunker, whatever, but they just come back. Because there was a skeleton crew that tatted up all of these cities and made them good for inhabitation, okay? So they would have gone in these churches. The first thing they'd done is fix an early version of the harpsichord in like early 1700s. Boom, there it is, and then they cranked it up, okay? Now, I don't think that was the original version, was a keyboard or an organ. I think they had something more going on. These things are infinitely loud. Honest to God, they are just fantastic when you really, really hear them. They just literally life-changing experiences organs can be. So they are literally massive for the scales of building, some of these organs. And antiquitech, as I explained earlier. So antiquitech, free energy gathering, what would they do with the energy? Well, use it in society. I was told once that my partner's grandmother, they said, oh, she had gas in her house, and said, oh, they're going to come and put the electricity in. That old trick again. It's like, again? Like it's happened before? Okay. So if you look at the word electricery, it's got the word trick in it. Electric. So I think that they have written a song concerning electric. I think that it's probably not the best thing that happened to humanity, but it is useful. So these, if you imagine, some people will argue, well, it's just lightning conductors. Yeah, sure, I used to fit lightning conductors. And lightning will strike these, and then it will send an electrical charge down into a grounding port. Okay, but that electric, like you see in the film Frankenstein, to bring the dead back. Okay, and what are these churches full of? Dead people. Okay, is this a form of medieval cryostasis, for example, where these dead things are just, I don't know, just put it out there. But I'm just thinking, now, these crosses, they resonate. Now, this same interaction happens on the railings outside my house. Literally, the wind blows through them, I've touched them like that, they're vibrating, they're oscillating. Okay, well, these oscillate in the same way, okay, and that can be used or converted into a useful current. The domes that you see here are made of ceramics, as you know, ceramics, thank you very much. And as you know, ceramics are used in like spark plugs or electrical components, which they have on these tiles, yeah. Yeah, so these would have gone, the charge would have gone in after, and it would have gone to, so there's always like a substation, if you like, next door to the churches where they go, and then I think that it was transferred into the towns, okay, via what they call, I guess they call them bollards, but you can see these steel posts with chains right the way through cities. Have you seen these? And they seemingly, you know, what are they for? To stop like horse and carty ram raiders. I don't think that's a thing. So what are they really for? Well, I think it was to transfer a subtle charge that you wouldn't get electrocuted, but it would pass the charge through into the towns, you know? So beautiful examples of antiquitech here, as you can see. So jewels as well, you know, I think jewels, stones have all got their certain properties and their certain vibrations. The royals and the elites definitely know it because they've covered themselves in these things and they put them on important chakra places. The Queen's got the crown, the star here. They know about how, you know, they're looking after themselves. This is why the Queen's, like everyone's like, Jesus, is she still around? How old is she now? The same with the Queen Mother. I even said, oh, Queen Mother, she's got to go soon. She's like about 300, isn't she? You know? She waved at me once in Wells Cathedral. She went past the Queen Mother. She went, hiya, I want to eat you. Like that. I was like, oh. All right, she might not have been saying that, but that's the buzz I was getting off her, yeah? So yeah, a lot of these as well, what you get is giant crowns on tops of buildings. You'll see them a lot. If you look on tops of some of these old antiquitech buildings, you'll see these giant crowns, or churches too. Are they crowns for giants? Giants in the past? Who even knows? But I think it's toroidal physics, okay? These are drawing and rolling chi energy to create power and possibly some sort of shielding as well for the church, some sort of cloaking device, if you like. Okay, so, yeah, so what you see here is a dude tuning bells. Now, I'll talk about bells a minute because this is a big part of this antiquitech. What he's doing there is he's tuning an old bell, one of the old bells from the old world. Now you're going to be surprised at this if you don't know about it already, okay? So this is a bell in China, or actually Burma, and you can see that this is not the original place where this bell was, okay? They just put a wooden beam through it, this thing, I don't even know how they founded it in the antique world, how they produced so much, you know, if it's made of brass or whatever quality, how are they producing it and why is it there? So the building that this would have been in is no longer there because of the reset, and they kept the bell, okay? So The bell is giant, okay? The bell is massive. So I think that, you know, a lot of these things, we're in a world where we lived alongside giants, which are no longer here. So this one was in Canada, Australia. I think it was in Melbourne for part of the Great Expositions. We just built a massive, massive bell, okay, and then just parade it for an exposition, as I showed you on the first bit of this video. Then great civilizations, okay, which I literally had a Mandela effect only a week ago, finding out that my own city, Cardiff, had one with 1 million people going through. And I study local history, and I swear I can't believe I missed that, because I don't miss a fucking trick. So no, I don't believe that. So Big Ben, we all know about Big Ben. It's the biggest bell in Britain, apparently. The bell up in the tower. How did they get it up there in an antique world? Well, it must have built a, because if you've seen the height of what is now Elizabeth Tower, I believe, they changed the name of it, I don't know. How did they get it up there? What sort of gantry would they need to lift something of such excessive weight? We're talking like dozens of tons, it's just insanity. This is not what's happening. I think that they, excuse me, let me just move it on. The Armageddon happened, okay, and they replaced everything, okay? They literally took away the antiquitech, the bells were replaced, and whatever in antiquity was left, it's just left to rack and ruin. Like these bells here, they're not in a building, are they, in China? But they are massive bells. Can you imagine the vibration, the healing possibilities with a bell so massive? Okay, I don't know if any of you have seen the film Kung Fu Hustle. There's a very interesting bit in there with a bell. Look at the size of that one. There's also some beautiful geometry on it, but it looks a little bit like a UFO or a Glocken, which is again a bell, the Glocken, chime machine, but the great bell. So it's just balancing there. That's not its original place where it was. So it would have been in a massive building that doesn't exist anymore. This civilization it was just colossal. It was colossal and it was incredibly beautiful. You can see at the bottom a giant. You can see these in Paris actually. In the background, I think that's Notre Dame Cathedral. And you get the narrative of the bells, Esmeralda of the Notre Dame. But this giant, he seems to be off with the bells. He's taking the bells away. Why would he be doing that? And in this one here, this image here, is in China. So the stupas that you see in the east, okay, they are upside down bells, okay? It's working on the same technology, resonating technology of antiquitech. So let me just move on. How am I for time? Good, my groovy.
12 minutes.
Fuck me. Oh, excuse my language. I'm sorry, I don't mean to drop the tone. I am really cultured.
Yeah, take 15 and then we'll take a shorter pause between.
Okay. So, yeah, you can see, like, if you're standing in front of there, okay, and you tap that bell and you just stand there, it's like the same thing with tuning forks. You all know you can heal, you can find out where a broken bone is with a tuning fork, so many things. Well, these work in the same way. They scan the body with a vibration and heal it. But something happened. This is the biggest bell in antiquity. It's called the Tsar bell, and it was on a massive 200-foot tower in the Kremlin. So again, I'm wondering how they got it up there, but there was apparently an event, like an earthquake, like Moscow always has earthquakes, and the Tsar bell fell down into this position. They picked it up and they put a brick underneath, okay, or this brick work underneath, but they kept it there and you can literally visit it. It's called the Tsar bell. So I don't think that happened, and this is the reason. This bell cracked because there was an event, and the event was linked in to antiquitech, and it was linked in to this vibration, okay? All of the bells rung at the same time in the past. Now, this is not the only example, okay? There it is from antiquity, but the cut or the bit missing is on the other side. You can see it's an absolutely beautiful bell, and you get that configuration on top of the bell. You get the ball. Some people say there's mercury inside there, and then you get the crown type 4 beams coming up, and that's also toroidal physics, where they're driving chi energy up. So there it is. You can see there's a little thing there on top, some sort of antiquitech possibly next to it. You see that? Well, it's pretty unexplainable. I don't know what it is. It's just quoted on Stanford. Oh, what is that? So yeah, it's not the only example. Look at when you see on top. That's on top. It's that crowning thing again. They all have it in that ball with the crucible and the cross in this case. But again, that's toroidal physics. It's this like mind-blowing. And the Vajra, you've seen endless amounts of images, I guess, in the Veda, whatever. You see the Vajra. Apparently, Elon Musk keeps one next to his bed. Okay, so he knows about toroidal physics. This is two they get two toroidals around each side of this this Vajra at the bottom, and you can see this bell is half a bell, half a Vajra. So it's working both forms of vibrational quality, which is really amazing. This is the Liberty Bell, cracked. Coincidentally, around exactly the same time as the Tsar bell got cracked. Yeah, and this is the most famous bell in America. So dig, the most famous bell in Russia, okay, it's got a big crack in it. And at exactly the same time, the biggest bell in America, and the most famous bell, the Liberty Bell, also has a crack in it. And the narrative of dropping this and cracking is just ridiculous. I think there was an event, and I think that they leave these out, the powers that should not be, to show us that when this cataclysm happened, the bells got shattered. So there is the Liberty Bell. Okay, so it happened literally in the same time frame as the Tsar bell. So what happened then is in World War II and World War I, they collected all the bells in Europe. Did you know this? Yeah. And they replaced them for a lower quality bell. I've got examples, like that guy earlier, he was using the old world bell to show you can feel it, yeah? These bells in the modern day, they're not doing the same, okay? They're a lower, a lower pitch and everything. So yeah, they got exactly the same configurations on top. That's how I identify these old world bells. And they literally, not only that, the Phoenician style architecture, all just put into piles. And, they said it was for the war program, but that's not the case. Yeah, to make armaments, out of gunmetal, etc., or bullets casings. That's what they said, but that's not the case. They said the same for Britain when they removed all of the railings in Britain. They said, oh yes, we built tanks in the war, but all of that ended up dumped in the Medway off of London. None of it got used in the armaments program, I found. So yeah, they dismantled it all, put them all in piles. It's quite heartbreaking. So all of the bells in Europe, like tens of thousands of bells. This bell here is a bit unusual. You've got a church here which got all grass outside, but if you see the mud there, the bell is literally buried in the mud. So how did that happen? When did that happen? How did the bell actually get into the mud? During the cataclysm, what I call, most people call Noah's flood, which was, in my estimations, maybe 200 years ago, or 226 years ago, something around there. Bit difficult because they got the hold of the chronology, so they just keep you giving the dates and the changes. It's pretty difficult to fix. But if you switch a calendar off and then put it back on again, and then always, society, nobody knows any better. And the new people that come in, this is the world we live in. Look, it's a big shiny globe. Dinosaurs. Look, dinosaurs. And they do all of this. It's a new paradigm. It's just ridiculous. All came in the same time, actually, all of it. Heliocentrism, dinosaurs, and all of these little weird things that they like to do. If you go in a supermarket and you've got, like, globes, yeah, they got dinosaurs right next to them. It's like, together, coupled. So, yeah, all the bells of Europe, tagged, and I don't know what happened to them. I don't think they put them into the tanks and bombs at all. You can see them here. They're not only ripping them out, they're defacing them. There's literally inscriptions on this bell, and the men are taking it up with sledgehammers and chisels, so you don't find out the information of the past. Yeah. And then later, after World War II, they reintroduced bells, new bells with a lesser tone, and they put them in the churches. They had big religious ceremonies, blessing these these bells. So, I wonder if I could just bring this image up a bit. It'd be really good if I could magnify. Where's the mag on this, bro? Oh, perfect. So, mirrors of the past, safeguarding our future is what this engraving from the 1700s tells us. It's in French, and I'm guessing it's an allegory for the French Revolution. But what it does show us is there's a reset of civilization. It shows us, if you look at the top, you can see the phoenix. If you see above the phoenix, plasma bursts coming down. This plasma event that happens, okay, in fries the earth, lightning like you wouldn't imagine, okay, it's like super lightning. And then if you look further down, you can see men distributing food. But the people who are just coming in at the bottom, who you can see, okay, they think they've been selected to survive, okay, but they're doing just as crummy as everyone else, okay? Everyone is affected by radiation, okay? Now, I'm not saying that's nuclear bombs, because wood emits radiation, well, after that burns, so that's not the case at all. But I definitely think electromagnetic technologies, okay? And I think if you see the serpents, the Gorgon coming out of the floor with all the serpents, okay? Plasma technology, the Medusa effect, yeah, the Medusa that changes matter into stone, okay? And this is why Theseus had the shield, so he didn't look at her. Okay, so the most effective way to destroy people is to deny and obliterate their understanding of their history. And that's the God's honest truth, okay? They've rewrote history, they've given us this narrative, their fluffy, rubbish narrative, when our story of being who we are now is much richer and much, much greater. And I'm really, really loving discovering where we come from and where we're going. Because it is quite exciting, guys, you know? Don't ever think that you know, just, I'm in a camp of let it be, and I'm in a camp of you do you boo. And I think that's a good place to be. But I'm happy to help anybody, but I think that in this time, it's important to withhold your chi for you and realise the truth. And then, you know, if somebody asks you, just pass on the information that you learned, okay? So who controls the past, controls the future. Who controls the present, controls the past. And that is the score, okay? So, Hell's Bells. Hell ain't a bad place to be, as AC/DC told us on the Hell's Bells tour. You remember that? Yeah, so hell ain't a bad place to be. So my last little bit before I go, I just want to show you a little video here. If I can. If I can, there it is. Of, oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, I don't want that, I don't want that. I don't want that. Okay, how can I get off that, Steve?
What are you after?
Next image, my bro.
Next image.
Yeah, that's it, that's it. So just to give you an idea, just to finish, of the level of sophistication that we had only 100 years ago, not this one, the next one. You can see that sky train there, that's it. Crack it. Yeah, have you seen this video? Yeah. Yeah. It's not coming up because this is in the way, this bottom bit. Anyway, it's not prerequisite, don't need it. There. But anyway, this SkyTrain, okay, it's a track in Germany and it'll take you over the streets. But if you look at the streets, okay, this is the age of horse and carts. So you've got to imagine how they constructed a electric SkyTrain with these massive overhead beams. Just check out the architecture, you know, in the background as well, just fantastic. So all of this, we're led to believe, is in the world before the motor car. Okay, so everything. So how much weight can an average horse and cart carry? Well, the average is about half a ton. But they can carry up to 2 tons on a downhill slope with a large horse. So that was in question some of the stone that's in this castle, okay? Because some of them are massive blocks and really high up. You have to wonder how that even got here in the first place. Over muddy, the whole world had muddy paths, guys, you know? And just check this out though. So all electric, so they would have been generating electricity. What age are we looking at here? Like 1909. Yeah? So, and this is still here today. It's in a town, I can't pronounce it, Wieselberg or something, but it's near Frankfurt on Main. You see it goes over the water, but just the construction necessary for such a SkyTrain. I think the whole world had sort of the engineering like this. Liverpool had a SkyTrain, it was removed in the 50s. Yeah? Absolutely fantastic. And one thing you will never see, you might see an odd building in scaffold, but for the buildings of antiquity, you will never see anything being built. in Victorian photos, and you won't be able to find any evidence. You pick a building, you go and look into it, and you've got no evidence of this building being built. It's just the words do not make it real. Okay? And if you do find anything, it's always the building's there, the roof's going on. Never from the foundations up. Because they were tarting them up after a reset. So that's me. Anybody got any questions? I really enjoyed that. Thanks. Thank you.